that one.
On a different podcast or something for a minute.
I was like, what's the intro to this
That's
one?
that's the default thing that comes with it. All right, this will work.
Welcome to the official AFL Fantasy podcast with the Traders.
G'day with the Traders. Thanks to Sportsbet, I'm Roy, I Coach Destroy, and I'm here with Warnie.
Coach of the Wandol.
And Calvin.
Coach of Calvinator.
Boys,
Boys.
it's great to be here.
I'm glad you're here. I was worried.
Yeah, so you should be. I only come in just to say thanks.
Yep.
And
Bit of a party.
see you next year.
So you can't do that, Roy.
You can't
Got to
do
fight on. Have I not inspired you this year?
Even when things aren't going my way, though.
Hey, happens to the best of us.
Don't
but
be a quitter.
You'll be right, Roy.
All right, I'll hang in there.
Okay,
you
good.
twisted my arm.
Good, right.
All right.
We've had a lot of other bad years. Hey, your
We have.
year's not bad because you're going well.
I prefer a worse year. I like when I'm about 2,000 just ticking along.
What about 9,000 or 10,000?
Yeah, just keep ticking
So,
along.
Roy, your score this week for round 19 was?
It was 23.69, which isn't too bad. And, like, the thing is, things go right and wrong for all of us every week. But I'm on a horror month at the moment. So I dropped 13 spots and I'm ranked 141. But it could have been so much better with just a couple of tweaks.
13 spots, that's all right.
Oh, it's all right. Yep, still playable.
You're still nearly
I'll keep
there.
turning up. I'll keep charging on.
Cal,
For the
you got
people's
beaten
hat.
by 16 points by
Yeah.
Destroy.
You haven't had a good week, have you, Roy?
That's
No, I haven't.
disappointing.
Well, that's
That's
how I
weird.
judged it. That's why I was going to quit.
That's it. 23.53 rocketed me up 500 spots and inside the magical 10K.
Well done.
Well
Yeah.
done. Do
Yeah.
you think you can stay there?
Oh yeah, I'll be hat contender soon.
Good on you.
How many weeks we got?
5.
Ooh,
Well, you'd move up the most out of us on the pod.
Yes, best team.
Because I
again.
only moved up 346 spots
Yeah.
this week, but it's got me up to 1,230.
He's charging.
That's the door.
Form,
knocking on it at the
form
top
team of the
1,000.
competition.
He
Well,
was
just quietly, I am.
I know.
He
My
is.
couple of weeks being top scorer.
pretty happy with
about
himself
time.
too over the weekend.
So he should be.
Yeah, well.
I got a message. I've
yeah.
seen my team. I'm killing it. That's what he said.
How
Have
come he
you-
sent them separately? Because I got the same one.
Everyone knows that is false.
could have
Because
just put it in the group chat.
I would not communicate with you over the weekend, Calvin. Except, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Oh, no, let's talk about it now. Nah, we'll talk about it later.
Oh, you can't
That I
wait for
had to
that.
communicate with you.
Here it is! That's what you did, Jenny. You stuck it right up them.
You guys are blessed. You guys are in the presence of greatness. Calvin's captains, number one.
Oh, yes.
You
well
are.
done.
Number one. Everyone doubted me, Roy.
Yes.
Lachie Whitfield, 145 points that I saw coming.
You did.
There you go.
Elite.
Vice captain.
Yeah.
Had on him there, Roy.
I
Did
know.
you? Had him as a vice captain.
So you should. Well
Yep.
done.
There you go.
take
Dominate.
No wonder you gave it to him.
I couldn't take it. You idiot. I didn't look at that. I was like, oh, surely he plays early enough on the Saturday. And then I was like,
Expert.
Hey, I can pick him. I just can't quite look
And
to them.
there's the reason
Yes.
why we don't listen
And
sometimes.
fair enough, too.
Well done, though. Great
Thank you.
pick. You
Thank
did
you.
your job.
Thank
you did your job.
I did.
I reckon I got my best ever instant reward from a player, and that was Adam
yes.
Treloar with his 149 on Saturday night. It's just so nice to trade into something like
I
that.
reckon.
31 disposals, 6 marks, 8 tackles, 3 goals. And I did get out of the couch a couple of times there when he was kicking those snags.
can
and
imagine.
there were
I bet
some
he
big
did.
war dog fist bombs.
That must have been when he was sending those messages.
Yes, he would have been.
My 3 goes to Harry Sheasel. So he scored 134 for the second time in 3 weeks. And in what was the worst Sunday of fantasy I have ever had, the Shees stepped up to at least put a little smile on my dial.
It was the most disgraceful display I've ever seen.
Because it's just not acceptable.
Okay, so I missed Lachie Whitfield's VC.
Yeah.
I couldn't
How
get
did
to
you
it.
do it?
Oh, dog, you know what I'm like. Anyway, so that's
Just
why...
put emergencies on everyone and then just
Well,
look
I
at it.
didn't. I just thought I'll have a look at that after he plays and I'll reassess.
Yes.
Right?
There you go.
Anyway, everyone's already played. I couldn't get to him. So I was like, oh,
3
that's all
cheers
right.
for rolling lockout. Hip, hip.
And I was like, that's okay. I've got Butters coming up.
Yeah.
That's fine. He's a 120
Good matchup.
against...
Traded into him.
Traded into him. fullback captain option. It was about 60 points less. So, yeah, Butters, 88. Pull your finger out, son.
He's going
Come
to get
on.
his backside tag watch too the next couple of weeks.
He will be. Yes. So, anyway, that's not good. Not good by me. Not good by Butters. Let's put it that way.
Fair call. You just talked about what it felt like to trade in a 150.
Yeah.
Josh Dunkley, 61. Stat stuffing fraud. He is.
Fraud.
Never again am I calling him that. I didn't realise he was such a downhill skier.
Yeah.
I knew the matchup on paper wasn't great.
Yeah.
But did you see Zorko struggling? Did you see Hugh McCluggage struggling?
No.
Rayner got 100. Did you hear that? So Dunkley got 61. He looked off the pace. Couldn't get his hands on it. Just he thought he was a ruckman in general play. Just punched it everywhere when it got close to him. Absolute disgrace. And if I didn't bring him in, if I didn't trade,
This is the bad
once again,
story.
I would be sitting in the top 100.
Unbelievable.
If I didn't trade. Because he was so bad. The guy I paid $1 million for.
Unbelievable.
Now, such is my dislike for him at the moment, getting that
no.
-3. I'm ignoring that I played Fisher instead of a
that you held
75
Fisher. Yeah.
for 40.
Unbelievable.
I didn't hold him through choice, by the way. It was suspension and injury that kept him in my team, but he was unique, and I thought, well, now he's unique.
Yep.
You might get lucky for the first time this year.
Yep.
Oh, my God. I am sucking. I am
fantasy
in the
gods.
worst form
Yep.
ever
As
at
a
the
person
moment.
that has a bad run of luck.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you some advice.
You must have broken a lot of mirrors when
Yeah.
you were a baby.
I don't know. I shouldn't be ranked this high still. I don't know how that's
For
happening.
someone like you, it will turn around. For me, how many mirrors have I broken, Dog? A lot, right? So it hasn't turned around for me yet, but usually it'll turn it around. You'll be right this week.
Okay, I'll
You'll
be right this week.
Yep.
Said it all month, but I'll be right this week.
I'll say Jai Simpkin gets mine for a 61, mostly because I felt like I was so bullish on him being an F5 or an F6 for us.
Yes.
Like, if you've got him, you weren't trading him out or anything like that. But I guess in saying that, just a little bit let down. But yeah, in saying that, he was as good as what some of those F5s and F6s
that's
have
it, isn't
been,
it?
the premium ones as
Like
such.
Myers.
Yep.
Big letdown,
What they've dropped
etc.
out in those few weeks. So anyway, play on essentially for that.
He scored the same as Dunkley at least.
Yeah, so you should take that as a positive.
Well, you
Plus
should.
3.
Wow.
Now, weekly winner this week was Jesse's team, Perth United, scored a 25-63.
Large,
That's a
large.
big score, so well done. And that's got them into the top 3,000. Well done, Jesse. Overall leader, bit of a change at the top.
Oh. Ooh.
Thomas's Pom United dropped down because scored a 23-40. Cal, you beat the number one coach in the world. this
Oh,
week.
let's go, Cal. Come on.
Go, Cal.
Very unlucky moves there. Oh, just a lot of bad luck. For
like Nank.
Tom. Yep, Nank
Have
hurts.
mercy.
Yeah.
And he was on his Nank Island, as we heard about on the podcast.
Yes.
Go and tune into that. Still a very good listen.
Very unlucky.
From Tom. But yeah, Brady's team, B-Dizzle 90, moved up into first place and now holds a 37-point lead. That's off the back of scoring a 24-52. So
Nice work,
hitting a
B-Diz.
big number there at the end. The Hat Watch. So here we are. Walsh's Wizards 18 is currently in 100 spots. So Bailey had a decent enough score, a 23-63. I'm going to say they might have even slipped down.
Yeah, okay.
from
I
that
reckon.
one.
Yeah.
I reckon. But the more important one is how far is Roy off a hat?
Come on.
60 points off 100 spot. Now, you did mention there in that -3 that if you had have not even made a trade, you could have left a trade in the bank,
That's the second time this month if I didn't trade.
Serong and Dunkley, that you would have been in the top
Second
100.
time this month. I've got to stop trading.
You know,
Maybe
also-
you do. Maybe you just made the most perfect team ever, and all you're doing is trying
making
to...
it worse.
Yeah, I am.
Cow polishes his turd. But
That's it.
You're putting turd onto your
I am.
trophy.
Just give us a scoop, Cal.
Speaking of turds.
Plop it on top.
Speaking of turds, you two.
Present.
Right. Now, you're sitting next to greatness here, right?
Yeah.
Why didn't you guys vice captain Whitfield?
I told you last week, I got English in for a reason and I needed to have a look at it.
He was number 2 on the list. Dog, why didn't you do it?
I got a little bit worried about loops. Is my problem. Maybe you should have got a little bit worried about
I
loops.
should have had a look at it.
Yeah.
That's
Just
where
saying.
that came from.
I just feel like I'm being ignored here. I'm offering 145
I know, it
captain
would have been
options.
nice.
Roy, that would have put straight up the top.
Yeah, I wouldn't actually be there if I didn't go against you and pick Goulden the other day either. So.
Okay, good point.
Yes.
Good point. Touche.
Yes. Now, we saw some big quarters, but not as many as last week. Daniel Rioli had a 58-point second term. Jack Sinclair, Cow, your boy.
My boy Stinclair.
He had a 56-point
big.
third quarter. That was massive. He was looking good. Treloar in the second. He had a 51 point. But Ben Keays, his fourth quarter was a 50-point quarter. And we'll talk about him a bit later because he had 6 of the centre bounces then with Dawson and Laird out in that last quarter.
We'll talk about him, all right. Just have looking at Sinclair there, and apologies to you. You're an owner, aren't you?
Stinclair owner, yes.
Yeah, that 56-point quarter forced me to send my first reverse rocket in a long time.
Roy!
Nailed him too.
Well, didn't work. This is it because we're looking at it going, there was only 4 blokes that had 50-point plus quarters. I think we had a dozen or so last week.
Yes.
Had a couple of 60s in there.
Yeah, and anyway, so I thought I'd look at the bad final quarters because I felt like there was a trend there.
Yes.
The lowest was George Stewart. He had
Super
a -3.
Huey.
And played.
Lost his cape.
Rory Laird had a 0-point final quarter. Now, he still played out there. He had 53% time on ground in that last quarter. So he still played half a quarter and didn't score. Max Holmes, who has been a gun this year, only had 4 points. Dan Houston, 7. LDU, 7 in the last quarter. Cripper, 8. Sick Dog, 9. But yeah, Jack Sinclair, after featuring there with a 56-point third quarter, he's gone, I've had enough.
Roy!
Sorry.
You can't do that to me.
8 points. He
If
had
I've
8
got
points.
players going bad, I need others to go bad.
He had 8 points. That's not good. So anyway,
Got him.
All right, the votes are in for the Michael Barlow medal. That's our cash cow of the year for round 19. And 5 votes go to Matt Roberts, who was running around in his zinc cream at the Gabba. Now, it's his 8th time he's polled this season as he's notched up his first fantasy ton with 102. Who gets the 4 votes, Cow?
Some may say kiss, some may say cow. You are a coaching genius. My D6, Mr. Logan Evans, was sensational with 22 touches and 9 marks. He even kicked a goal for his 101. And you wouldn't believe it, boys. Another one of my boys gets the 3 votes, and that's Colby McKercher after racking up 86 points on Sunday. He had 22 disposals, 4 marks, laid 5 tackles, and even took a game-high 6 kick-ins.
Oh, what a gun. So Sean Manor, 2 votes. He looked great against the Dogs, scoring 84 thanks to a team-high 8 tackles. And going back to Friday night, the most popular trade-in for round 19 was Zach Taylor, and he gets 1 vote for his 78-point game.
Now, the leaderboard remains the same, but Colby McKercher and Matt Roberts are now just 4 and 5 votes respectively behind the leader, Jeremy Sharp.
Here's the news of the week you need to know on the official AFL Fantasy podcast.
All right, a few things out of the news for this week. We'll start back on Friday night. Jai Caldwell. So, we thought concussion, but no. He was smart, as you said, Cal.
He was.
With the ribs.
Yeah.
The ribs. So, it was Keays that tackled him in that one too. So he lost 3 points for that. He could have had an even bigger final term.
He would have.
What a monster.
So, anyway, that was, so ribs essentially, and hopefully he's going to be okay. So, they subbed him out basically because of the concussion protocols, thinking that he had to go through the HIA and all of that and the timing and all of that, get the fresh legs on there in old Archie Perkins.
Gosh, that's going to be...
Didn't help, though, because we would have won. Bombers would have won.
That's going to be amazing in a grand final one day.
It will.
Where it's someone cops a little knock and they're going to have to take the 20 minutes.
Yeah.
They'll be riding the pine when the game's on the line.
Essendon were good, though.
Shut up. Matt Guelph hurt his leg. Now, in that game, though, Jordan Dawson, concussion protocols for him, so he will miss round 20. So that is a massive issue for him. A couple of other Crows injuries there. Butts, Liz, Frank, and Murray. No ACL, but that knee is an issue. They're going to miss some time by the looks of it. Now, Rory Laird, he, as I mentioned before, he only played 53% of that final quarter. That's because he copped a corky. So he spent time on the bike. He was not good. And even from the words out of his mouth, he said that he was a bit sore.
It got worse as it went on, didn't it?
He struggled in that second half
out.
off that. So, so anyway, he should be right, though. Isaac Cumming, hamstring tightness, he was subbed out. Now, Liam Henry, season over after that bit of a knee knock that he had there. Your mate Kruger, head clash, Roy.
There's a red dot for me, handy.
There you go.
Take that.
I wish I had one of those.
Yes.
Tom Atkins and Shannon Neal, they were laid outs for the Cats, and I think, well, especially Neal, that was a tactical type thing because of that weather down there. Geez, that was wet.
Muddy. Looked old school.
It did, didn't it?
Like Windsor Park.
It did.
Back in the day.
Yep, it's exactly what I said.
Now, Rosie, he hurt his hip. Sat most of the last quarter. He did start warming up, but a bit of a cork. Is that what you'd call it? Was it just a little bit of drama queen?
I don't know.
A worry that they play Friday night? I guess the positive is that we'll know. Do we need to plan around some trades?
I don't think so.
I don't think
he
so.
He should be fine.
But if he doesn't play, you trade.
See you later.
Remember what happened last time? We discussed Rosie and was it his ankle?
Yeah.
Will he play? Came out. No, it was a hamstring.
Hamstring.
He came out,
come back,
subbed off.
did his ankle that
all.
next time too. God, he's a
Cow
worry.
season.
You don't
It is
have
a
him
worry.
though, do you, Cal?
No, I had him for that.
Yeah.
I had him when he got subbed
So you don't
out.
have him back.
No.
You just got butter.
Was that through...
Anger.
yeah.
Yeah, it's anger.
You're
Yeah.
just stubborn.
Yeah,
Stubborn old man. That's
He
me.
was cheap there.
He was cheap for a while.
Still is.
No, not touching him.
Big Nank. So Toby Nankervis, concussion protocols for him. He was subbed out at three-quarter time. There was sort of talk to you about a back. But, yeah, clearly must have been a bit of a head knock there that's going to see him miss round 20 as well. Now, moving into Sunday, flicked on the TV to start watching the Brisbane and Swans game, which was a cracking game.
Good game.
Too. Early on, Zorko got landed on his legs. I thought he'd snapped both of them.
Oh,
the
dear.
way that he
I didn't
performed,
see it,
he
thankfully.
was hobbling around. I thought, oh, no, game over. But, like, was it a calf? Was it an ankle? No, he's all right.
He was all right.
And racked out 130.
He was back being his hungry, piggish little self. 12 marks.
Well, he'll be one to watch this week then.
It was against the Suns.
Yeah.
Big time.
Swans a little bit walking wounded there with Dane Rampy with a calf and Tom Papley an ankle. Now into the Freo game, Alex Pearce, the one that he hurt, that arm,
Yes.
caused him grief.
It
subbed
did.
out.
He got another knock on it.
Yeah.
Well, did you see him even early in the game? He was carrying
Yeah.
it before he'd even bumped it.
And Luke Jackson, knee is an issue there. So that's something to look at. For any coaches there, you probably were, if you did have him, you were thinking now that Darcy's back in after that concussion.
Yeah.
He's got to go.
Time to go.
Disappointing though, because
Very much so.
that could have been a
he was
little bit
serviceable there. Yeah.
better. TDK, thought he was going to be out of the game quite early on, Roy.
Yeah. He didn't look in good nick. He already had his whole leg strapped. There wasn't much that could have got a
So
knock.
he's
But
tested
yeah,
for
ankle.
a bit of an ankle, went back on, then he copped the sternum bump. You could give him some advice on that.
jeez. Unlucky.
Did I see
Who
something
put the
other day?
letterbox in the middle of the ground?
That's it.
Yeah. And Walshy, bit of a back, bit of a knee.
Oh, please.
No extra concern for him on his back.
going
Apparently, a
on
knee
with
in the
him?
back. Sorry,
Roy,
a knee
what's
in the back.
going
That's what I
on?
mean by that. Not a knee injury. Copped
What's
the
he
knee in the
doing?
back.
Nothing.
Right.
Mate, I'm his biggest fan.
I know.
But you just can't be rolling this out at this
No.
time of year. That's 3 sub-hundreds in a row from a guy that was a top 3 mid there
Yep.
through the middle of the season.
Would
Now-
you consider trading him?
I don't think I could do that. But, yes, it should be considered.
Now, sub-wise, probably not too much to talk about, but in that game there, Roy, your mate Zach Fisher was subbed out. So that's
God, why'd they even pick him?
frustrating.
Goodness me.
A couple of Magoo's news, just for the point of these scores. We saw some big ones on the weekend. Now, Tom Downey, he plays for Williamstown. He was up against Richmond, had 201.
There we go. We've
Day
done
out.
The
it.
ruckman had 70 hit-outs, as we can think about what the weekend was like for conditions and stuff. But 70 hit-outs, 27 disposals go with it. So that's pretty nice.
Well done, Tom.
Now, next on the list, though, was Jaxon Binns.
That's more like
Bigsy.
it.
And I think this was about the time of the season that I picked him up last year.
Yeah, you paid a bit too much
Yeah, but
last
now
year,
he's
didn't you?
200K.
Do it.
Might be back in the mix. 197, 47 disposals, 13 marks.
What an animal.
Did not struggle
That's a
there,
day.
old
That's a
Jackson.
day, all right.
But Kynan Brown. So if you were looking for that 200K mid-forward, does he come in off the back of his 175, 27 disposals, 24 tackles?
What?
24 tackles. Now, the thing that you'll add to that, he had 11 clearances. Now, if you did look at that game, Melbourne got smashed in the clearances.
Embarrassing it was.
They were.
Could they just put him in because, he got clearances in the VFL.
Well, it was a good time to do it. It'd be a chance.
Interesting. Cow, you got anything?
Tag watch.
Have you got anything for Tag Watch?
Well,
Where'd people go?
not really. Interesting to see if Jack Graham's going to be back this week
Yep.
because he had a hip, which meant that Butters got off the hook, but he didn't.
Yeah.
So he could go to Nick Dacos. Bedford obviously got cleared, so he tagged Noah Anderson last week to 78. You know, he'll go to Clayton Oliver. Would you bother?
No, not really.
And the other one that might affect us is going to be James Jordan and where he goes against the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
So early in round 11, he started on Bailey Dale, switched to Treloar at half-time. From that moment on, Treloar finished, he had 38 points in the second half. He had
a good first half.
He had a 90-odd.
Yeah.
So, that's a small concern if you are looking to bring in Treloar at Sydney, against Sydney with James Jordan lurking.
Potentially.
It could be an issue.
It's a couple of flags.
Yeah, but at the Tag Watch
Good
since
thing
we...
his average for 2 weeks will be all right.
that's
for
right.
you it will be.
Yeah,
It's just
No, you'll
probably
be
don't
right,
trade into it.
But, I'm with
Anything
you.
else surprise you out of the weekend? What did Bedford do?
Bedford went to Noah Anderson.
Yeah.
And clamped.
Held him 78.
And Fremantle didn't cop any attention.
No.
So,
Neil Bullen didn't do
He was-
anything.
I factored him into that
the
trading
Serong.
Serong out.
Willem Drew hasn't been doing anything. Geelong didn't do any tags. It's sort of dried up since
has
we
a
made
bit.
the song, to be honest.
Like my chances of a hat when you turds made that song.
Well, let's make it. What can we make a song about then?
Oh,
Well, Tag Watch was probably about as good as you can get.
I know.
To get
Yeah,
rid of
get rid of
taggers.
something.
yeah,
Yeah.
we got rid of him.
Yeah. Oh,
Anyone,
well,
anyone
well,
we don't like? In the
Anyone we
league at
don't
the
like?
moment?
Maybe
Who
someone.
don't we have?
Yeah, I don't know. But
But
yeah,
don't start doing this sort of thing. It's just going to make
No.
everything even worse than it already is.
The karma bus.
Yes.
We'll come in. All right, let's get into some of the issues for the weekend. So it is round 20, which is in default leagues. It is finals time coming up after this week. Now, we did start a final on the weekend in
Yes.
our keeper league. Roy, poor old Chook.
What must have happened to his team?
He had the greatest team ever, and you've beaten him.
He must have had injuries galore.
did you knock him out?
Yes, because it's just...
Was that a
we never got
knockout?
top 4.
Oh!
And it was a straight up...
Was it?
Semi.
Oh, that was poor by me. I forgot to update.
Nothing worse.
Royce forgot to update, and listen to this.
Oh, no, this is kissed. This is why I didn't get kissed in my classic
Yeah.
team. I used them all up.
You didn't look at it. You forgot that you must have looped Soldo as your captain the week before.
I must have had something sitting there.
Who was your vice captain? So you even got away with Zach Butters as your vice captain, which ended up getting doubled at the time because you had Soldo as your captain.
in my
So you hadn't
ruck.
even looked at that. But you've had your Treloar 149, you've had Zorko 131, Keaysy 129. Even for that Soldo, you had McInerney on the bench, so he turned up in that game, which is
Thanks.
not a bad effort against
Oscar.
Grundy as
What
well.
I
but
expect.
poor old Chook, his side was good.
So he's out.
He's knocked out.
Oh, I apologise, Chook.
That's unreal.
So you'll be taking on Stu in the grand final this week.
I'm in a final. Let's go.
Can you please just don't update it again? Roll it through.
You might need to against Stu. Stu's a good coach. Look at all his looping he's done this week.
Oh,
he's
has
been
he?
working hard.
Oh,
on that
he was
one.
active. I'm going to get active this
You
week.
have
I have
to.
to. I'll have Keays in the midfield too.
Oh.
Might have a captain.
You might have a look at that.
Right, so finals will start next week in default league. Some are even starting this week too, if they, depending on the settings that they used and that sort of stuff. So if you have a top 8, it works as the same as the real thing. So basically, top 4, you get that second chance. 5th to 8th, it's knockout. And all that sort of
All
stuff
that sort
all the
of
way
stuff,
through. But check out your fixtures. You'll be able to see how that looks for you. And I've got a little bit of work to do. The Warn Dogs need this. But coming home with a wet sail.
Yes, you
now,
certainly are.
It's important with a team.
Saturated
looking like this.
sail.
And to do that, we need to make sure that we are trading players. We're in that luxury trade season. Sometimes they work. Sometimes they don't.
When do they work? Tell me.
For Dog, he'll let you know. He'll send you a message.
That's true.
Yeah, but they didn't really work. Oh, no, it did, because I got
did.
a lot more points, but far out. There was a lot of blokes I could have traded out instead of.
My God,
the
you're
dude
complaining
that had
about that.
120.
You're complaining about that.
I traded out a 120. It's not an A.
You got a 150. I got a 60.
Yeah, listen to him.
Goodness,
Giggling away over there.
mate.
Look at him.
Smug.
Right.
Put him in the pound.
Is it hard to change the
dog.
lyrics to that song? Dog's gonna win it.
I'd love it to. I'd love you to have to wear that pressure.
It's all right, Roy. Come on.
All right, let's look at some players that we're looking at. Roy, you've been giving great advice with the trades.
I have.
Keep it going. Although maybe you don't want to.
Oh, yeah, I should start throwing more wobblies out there. But I hate giving good advice like Tom Stewart when I couldn't actually do it myself. And look at him. Once again, I'll say it. Never failed in that role.
No.
Ever in his whole career.
And it keeps continuing.
And it keeps continuing. And there's no reason why it won't down at Blunston this week.
You wouldn't think so.
He remains cheap.
Yep.
He remains a great option. Bring him in. Good advice again.
125,
Thanks.
113, 125.
I might.
Oh, you can.
I might do it this week. Yeah, I think I should. I've got to mix things up a little bit.
All right, midfield. So Treloar went up to 957K. Can we do that with the looming tag? Is that enough to put you off it?
Oh, it's probably enough to put me off it. Now, it sounds stupid because last week I went into Dunkley into a Swans matchup, but I wasn't fearing that at the Gabba.
Yep.
This one, given it's at the SCG and given that last time they played in their most recent half, Jordan sat on him.
Yeah, move to him.
Moved
that
to
feels
him
like
and
that.
sat on him, and he's coming off and one of the
monster.
games of the season. So he'll be high on horses. Tag watch.
Yep. You'd think so.
Yeah.
Tag watch.
That sounds better. God, your voice is better than mine, Cal.
I know.
Mind you, you had some backing.
I did. I
think,
did. A few
didn't you?
tunes of that.
Yeah, there was.
I got one for you. Caleb Serong. Could you bring him back?
Yeah.
So 123 last week. Listen to the teams he's got
First
coming
time
up.
he's gone
I know.
over 107 since he scored that 140
I
against
agree.
Richmond.
In round 8.
And then it's the second time that he's gone over 107 since round 3.
So West Coast, Essendon, Geelong coming up.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's a
got a
nice
good
run.
run.
But when hasn't he had a nice run?
Yeah, but none of those guys tag, do they?
No.
So he should be fine.
You'd think so.
At 8.30, it's a good price to buy
Oh,
him.
it's great. I haven't ruled out bringing him back.
Yeah, okay.
How have you been with that this year? Like, have you gone back to the well with any
Yeah.
players?
Fisher.
Fisher. How'd that
yes.
work out? Sexton. How'd
Very
that
well.
work out?
But no, I'm willing to just go back if that's the best available.
Yep.
I will do it.
Because, it is just so cheap.
It is dirt cheap. So look at you think about this then. Someone like Sam Walsh who hasn't gone over 100 in 3 weeks. Serong hadn't gone over 100 in about 4
Yep.
leading up to last week.
Unbelievable.
But do you make a couple of grand out of going Walsh to Serong for the matchups?
Well, potentially.
God damn.
Jeez. Yes.
You could.
We've got to put some of these prejudices behind us of like, just not wanting to bring back in a player that you've had before. So you didn't bring back Rosie when you had ample opportunity to do that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Hence my ranking. Yes.
Yeah.
No, I'll consider bringing him back. Depending, I'm going to play the loop game this week, and he could be a part of that.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I
Because they
could
play
go-
Friday night, Walshy.
Yeah. So I'll tell you. Is this a good time to talk about it?
Yeah, go for it.
So
Strategy
what-
101.
So
with Destroy.
it's about time I started switching on, and with the looping game, I'm thinking I might look at Walsh,
Yep.
which is ridiculous
It's a
to have
weird
to
thing
even
to say, yeah.
But look at Walsh, given they play Port as well. So, and if he goes well, all good and well, Serong would be out of the equation.
Yep.
Yeah,
But if
yeah,
he goes bad, I could potentially bring Serong in. But I would have to wait till Saturday morning
Right.
to see how Manor goes. Because if he doesn't hit, well, maybe I should lower my expectation of 80. No, I'm not going to. I'm staying strong. So 80. If he doesn't hit 80, I would have to trade there. Look at the best. Who needs to be replaced more out of Manor and Walsh
Interesting.
Saturday morning.
I like
and
it.
trade accordingly.
I like it. And this sounds like you're switched on, Roy.
Well, I am switching on. This is the
Yes.
start of it.
Right,
It's
good.
either I quit or I switch on.
Don't quit. Now, Cal, there are old school fans of you. You've been releasing these new singles lately.
Yeah.
This is one of the originals.
table. Cow scale of hardness.
That was when you were going through your rock grungy phase.
Yeah.
Man, I never thought paying for vocal lessons would actually because your voice is your voice.
That's it.
What's the lesson going to do?
Yeah.
To your own voice. That is but it's worked for you.
It has.
So the reason we play that is because we've got some teams where their scale of hardness is opening up.
It is.
And North Melbourne is one of those.
They have the greatest run ever seen to man.
What's your voice tutor look like? Is she nice?
It's a guy.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's a guy.
God. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't realise.
So, yeah, blokes are allowed to sing too, right?
Oh, yeah, I know, but I thought you said, okay.
No, he's a good
He's a guy.
Yeah.
Alright.
Well,
What sort of warm-up activities does he have you
like
doing?
yeah, those sort of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, those sort of things.
God, you need lessons, dog. You're
Right.
way out.
Right.
Sorry,
Kangaroos.
North Melbourne. Yeah.
They go Geelong, Richmond, West Coast. Now, on the scale at the moment, there are 3 mega easy teams for midfielders to play.
Yep.
They play 3 of them in a row.
Right.
But the problem is, who's there that you would want? Sheasel? Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Happy with that. LDU? No. Hasn't really been doing it.
As a ninth guy, I
Yeah.
could live with LDU as a looping looker.
Because he's got that ceiling. He can be big on his
He
day.
can, yeah.
Simpkin.
Well, you'd be happy to read that, having it if you
If
already
you've got
own
him,
it.
you're not buying him.
No.
No,
Not
but just
after
rolling
61
that,
as well.
rolling that through.
Yeah.
Colby was racking up again and doing it everywhere.
Chincotta sat on him for a bit, didn't he?
Yeah, he did at the
Tried to
start of
slow
the
him
third
down,
and
yeah.
did slow him down. He didn't score for probably...
Only because he sat on the pine for ages.
Yeah, so... But he still got to 86,
Yeah, he
which
was good.
that could have been a ton. In games like this, these could be a couple of tons. And he's still cheap if
He
you
is.
want to play that looping game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, North Melbourne have the greatest run. The team that doesn't have a very good run here would... Well, Melbourne, they're no good day. We're not talking about them. But then we've got Adelaide
Right.
because...
Do we start talking there now?
Well, we can talk there. So they go Hawthorn, which are...
That'd be a bit
semi-hard
harder
team.
later.
They have been harder lately. And then they've got to travel to Geelong, which would be a great matchup. And then from there on, it goes hard, where they actually finish against Port Adelaide and then Sydney at the SCG.
Who does that, sorry?
That's Adelaide.
Yeah, okay.
And we're talking about them because we're talking about Ben Keays.
Right. I sillily said on Twitter when someone has a bit of a joke going, if Ben Keays ends up in my team, call the police because something's gone wrong.
Yeah.
However, he's a legit option.
Okay.
So some of those stats,
Yep.
50-point last quarter, as we heard.
Yep.
He was a full-time midfielder then because Dawson was out.
Yeah.
Lairdy sat for half of that quarter.
Yeah.
And that's when he's been a gun cow. You've done some research.
I
You've
have.
gone back and said, what did Keaysy do when he was playing midfield? Because he's been a fantasy relevant dude for us in those last couple of seasons.
When he gets thrown the keys to the midfield. Let's go!
It's round 20, Cal.
I know. I'm
You've
still
got it.
Still firing.
He's peaking.
Right.
When other people are quitting, Cal keeps it going.
Keep fighting.
Good on you, mate.
When he gets... So it was last year. He got the keys to the midfield.
Yeah. No, don't use it twice.
Over a little patch of the year there. 5 games, he averaged 98.
Yeah.
So as a midfielder, he is a 95 to 100 guy.
He is.
That you could place at your F6.
Yeah.
Now, this week, Dawson's not going to be there. Lairdy's on the limp, right?
Yeah.
Who's getting it, Roy? Who's going to be put into the midfield like they did in the last quarter last week, and they won?
He won them the game.
He won them the game.
So, like, he is their most informed midfielder
he is.
at the moment.
At 709K.
He's unconventional, but did you watch it? Probably the most enjoyable quarter from an individual I've seen
Erratic.
for a long time. Yep. I love everything about all that.
Yep.
The craziness of it. So I agree with you. He's an option, maybe just for 1 week.
So
Potentially.
could get a couple out of him.
Could get 2 out of him.
So you go
But if
there-
he goes in there and dominates again,
It'll be
how
nice
do you
for
really
the-
justify taking him out?
So, and then he's got the Geelong one in 2 weeks' time. So you'd probably have a look at that one as well.
He did snag 5 sausage rolls.
Look, he did.
Yeah, that last quarter, though, it was 15 touches.
Yeah.
Had, I think 5 tackles or something like that.
So
and
it's
kicked
not
a
even
goal.
the goals that got
Yeah.
him the boost. It was just the CBAs.
Their midfield mix will be interesting, though. So Saligo had one of his lower CBAs for, the year, essentially.
Yep.
So he was down. Hugh Bond had a couple in there because I think he was doing a bit of jobs, wasn't he? Was he running with some players?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he was actually.
And then you've also got, so Berry was a banana. Zach Taylor, he had 61% of them. So he
Saw him
was
popping in there.
He's elite.
behind
player.
Berry
He's a
as
very
the
good
second
player.
most. Obviously, Dawson will be out. Lairdy was down because of sitting on the pine.
Yeah.
And that cork that hurt him. So
Well, they're going to need a bit of size.
do you think he goes in and plays 50%?
I think he has
Centre
to play.
bounce midfielder time. Just
I think he
pushes up
plays
the ground?
more. I think he plays more.
Wow.
So definitely for this week, it could be a 1 week play, but then he's also got the Geelong one after. So
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
right,
It's just crazy that he hasn't done that at all this year. Not at all.
Not at all.
He's had one centre bounce prior to.
I remember them talking about it throughout the year a few times, and they said that he's there at their disposal if they ever need
yeah,
a midfielder, pretty much.
yeah, and throw him throw him the license to the midfield. There's one other guy I want to talk about in the forward line too, dog, because he's quickly becoming my boy.
So, Roy, you were looking at quitting before this.
Yes.
How he's stepping up his game.
right,
Right.
and I'm talking about the woodpecker, right?
We're turning into the Wiggles.
I'll tell you why I like Mason Wood. So 106 on the weekend against the Eagles. And
Yeah.
you're like, okay, he kicked 3 goals, 4. Okay. That's not ideal. We don't want someone sitting forward. But he actually plays a wing.
Yes.
So he's a wingman. He took 9 marks. In the last quarter, he got all his possessions down back.
Yeah, right.
He scored 29 points in the last quarter.
Good quarter.
Since round 8, he's averaged 92. 92 as a
It's
forward.
impressive.
Right?
Yeah.
And that includes a 55. Take that out, right? You can take that out. It's like a 96, 97 average as a forward.
Yeah, wow.
Anything 90s, F5 or F6 is elite. Anyway.
Do you feel like it's a safe sort of number too?
I do. And the next, he's got 4 out of the next 5 under the roof.
Yeah,
Right?
that's nice.
And in that 5 games, he's got Richmond and Geelong.
He's
Tell you
a great option.
The Pecker,
Yeah.
right? He is coming home strong.
Yeah.
I'm on his back, Roy.
I don't blame you.
We're going, yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it.
We're doing it. Am I?
I'm not
Considering-
responsible for
Right.
you going Woodpecker.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm just saying he's there as an option. 760. He's a fair bit.
Yeah, it is a lot. Keays is 50 grand cheaper.
Yeah, but geez, Woody's way better, mate. All right, I bet that'll be a little clip there that we play in the future. I can feel it.
Definitely hard to ignore.
Now, we got our rucks wrong. Cow got the rucks wrong.
Look, I'm trying to step up here, lads.
I know. Every time I listen, I'm just flipping and flopping with you. Anything I listen to
Look,
is wrong, and then I miss the other
hang on.
stuff.
You gave me one job, and that was captains, and you don't even listen to that.
No, I told you. You turned me off the Golden Week.
So,
fair enough.
what we're talking about there, X, you got that right. He's number one.
Oh, my
He's been
goodness,
so
he's
good.
number one.
But, Roy,
got
we
that right.
chose English over Marshall, and he's been defeated by him both weeks.
Oh, hang on.
And by a significant margin that first week.
Yeah.
111, 116 for English.
Yeah.
Don't
meh.
get so
Yeah,
greedy.
No, it's not awful.
It's all right.
And I tell you what, if I saw the 116 without watching what a horrible performance
All right,
that
what
was.
did you see? Because I didn't see it.
I saw someone getting bullied by someone who's not even a ruckman. I saw Gary Rowan
No.
getting hit outs against him.
No way.
Gary.
though. Really?
Yeah.
He's a big man.
There was, I know it was tough conditions and that,
Yep.
and your foot sinks in the
yes.
mud a little bit.
Yep.
Gary
You
Rowan
can still
recorded
jump.
2 hit-outs.
You can still jump. No, he wasn't jumping.
Did Gary Rowan get 2 hit outs?
Yes.
Oh, Tim.
It was desperate times, and it was a boundary throw-in at one stage or a ball up on the boundary, and I saw Gary run up next to him and nominate. And I thought, oh, well, I'll take any point I can get here.
Here's a point.
And then I'm like, oh, my God.
Yeah,
what are you
right.
doing, Tim? There was record number of opportunities to get hit outs, and he basically was a 50-50 chance against stand-in ruckman. They're not even ruckman. Stand-in humans.
Yeah,
It stood next to their ruckman.
So with
It was
English,
awful to watch.
The problem with English, I guess, is he travels to play against Grundy,
Yeah, that's a worry.
and then he's got Max. Grundy, Max.
Good luck getting a hit out.
Well,
He'll have to be very busy around the ground.
Because Max would definitely be back by then.
you would definitely think so.
I reckon he'll be back this week.
Would you consider trading English?
Yes.
Yes. He's been in one of my plans.
Just an eye test. Trusting the eye test
Yep.
would be enough to get him
And
out.
Marshall's getting back up to that $1 million figure. A little
Okay.
bit like what you paid for him.
Yeah, no, that's all right. He's all right. He's doing all right. Now, here's the thing with Rowan Marshall. On the scale, there are 4 red teams to play against. It's Gold Coast, Brisbane, Essendon, and Sydney, Grundy. In the next 2 weeks, Rowan Marshall plays 2 of them, Essendon and Brisbane.
See, Essendon.
Yep. They've been a red team all year, and it doesn't matter if there's 1 of them there or 2 of them there.
Right. Because 2 of them played on the weekend.
They did.
Oh, yeah.
They've been hard. You know what I mean?
But I feel like Marshall's a different beast, is he?
He's
Does
way more.
Does his
like
scoring match up with the scale? Like when he's played against red teams, does your scale go into that detail?
I'd have to.
Does your research do that?
I'd have to open up another Excel spreadsheet for that.
Oh, no.
He's like he's just a capable footballer. Like even when it's on the ground and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There was one time I swear I was looking at a computer game that was glitching.
Yeah.
Because Tim English, the ball was right in front of him, and the other player opposing him sort of grabbed it, and he was like he didn't know whether to grab the ball or tackle, so he just chose to stand there shaking his arms and did nothing.
Was his hands cold?
They must have been. It's
Okay.
either that or it was a glitch.
He took some good grabs.
He
though.
did, yeah. To his credit,
Dog,
he did that.
I've done the work for you.
Have you?
Yeah. So against Essendon earlier this year, round 3, he scores a 117.
Oh.
Against Brisbane
Hates
in
it.
round 14, he scored a 105.
And that was with, didn't old mate play in that game?
Who's your mate?
Dum-de-dum?
No, that was the other one. I think it was against the Port Adelaide
Oh
one.
God, Riley.
No, didn't he play up in Brisbane? I'm sure he did.
Riley O'Brien just is coming off a ton versus Essendon.
Yeah, your scale's cooked,
It's
Cal.
not cooked.
Dayan told me it's cooked.
Go back and have a look at it then.
He sent me a message. He goes, what is Cal
47
doing?
hit
I
outs.
just wrote back an emoji of a beer because that is what's cooked your head.
Riley O'Brien had 47 hitouts.
Yeah, go back and have a look what other people do. You just can't go to one.
But that guy,
You've just told us that Marshall dominates
So you think
against these red teams.
you think I make up the colours?
Hang on.
I
I'm
don't
looking for this.
Choose the colours.
you've contributed to this whole...
What's his name? Rowan Marshall. I'm looking at this game because... So you said, oh, he only had 104 against Brisbane. When was that?
It's great podcasting, by the way.
This is good podcast. In round 14, so Brisbane's a hard matchup.
They are a hard matchup.
Okay, so and
It's not just
somehow
me making
he
this
has
up.
105, 19 hitouts because old mate Tom Campbell was in and had 12 hitouts in that game.
How many goals did he kick?
None.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
You're cooked.
No.
The scale is cooked.
I don't choose the colours.
Trade him.
Yeah.
English
to Marshall.
There you go.
I'm fine with that.
And
So who's he got the next 2 weeks, Marshall?
so he got
Bombers. Even
Bombers
Rob's
and-
scoring a ton against.
Bombers and Lions.
And Lions, who he scored 105 against.
And he's got 2 great games at the end. Although I'm starting to doubt the scale now.
Now,
The scale's right, mate. It's all
Oscar-
year.
look, if you do need something to help you sleep, Oscar McInerney did ton up against Grundy this week.
Right.
Now, Big O, he's got a bigger ticker than Tim.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Grundy at home.
But yeah, so he did well. 27 hitouts he had in
Look,
that.
if Rowan Marshall can bully English, imagine what Grundy can do. Yeah. All right, I'll allow the Rowan Marshall trade for the record. Done.
Thanks.
No worries.
Appreciate
I'll tick it,
you
I'll,
ticking that one off.
I'll tick it off. The scale doesn't tick it off, but I will tick it off for you.
Jeez, you're a good bloke, aren't you?
No worries.
Honestly. What have I done to this team? Anyway.
That's where we're at. All right, let's have a look at the early trades ahead of round 20. And Tom Stewart is the most traded in player. Roy, you should do it.
Yes.
Zach Taylor, Adam Treloar, Dylan Moore, and Ben Keays makes the list.
Yep.
Easy.
Off the back of his big game. And he could be that option.
It could be an option.
Just a tick over 700K. He
Bargain.
could be that F5 or 6 for you. Now, the most traded out players, Jordan Dawson, as he is in concussion protocols, Ari Schoenmaker, who was dropped last week, Kruger, Dowling, just getting the cash off him, and Alex Sexton, who did move forward.
He did.
Last week.
Sexton backwards forward. Yeah.
It wasn't good. All right, what trades are we making this week? Who feels like they're nailing their trade so far?
All right, I'll start. Now, I am going to be playing a looping game this week, so it's very dependent, but I'm going Hayden Young to Tom Stewart and Zach Fisher to Ben Keays.
Right.
Now, Keaysy will come in if Manor doesn't hit an 80 Saturday morning.
So just watch this space with
Watch
Destroy.
this space.
You'll get on your tweets and let everyone know.
I will. I'm going to be much better at updating my team this week and sharing.
Is Dan home this weekend?
Yes.
Solo dadding didn't help you.
It didn't, and I flagged it a few weeks ago. We're in a very difficult position to keep up with the no-lifers.
Cal, where are you going?
I am going Kapow or Kaplop to Mason Woody Woodpecker.
Wow, you're doing it.
Yes, you got to do it. And Harrison. What's his name?
Harvey
Harrison to Kynan Brown, because I also wouldn't mind a little red dot there either.
Yeah,
so
it's
anyway,
handy.
we'll do that.
You need some respect on his name, but when he scores
You do.
like he was in the VFL, he might be straight in.
That's it.
Warn Dogs are getting rid of Tom Powell as well, and Dylan Moore is making his way in, with Jack Bytel going out and Jaxon Binns coming in, because I did it this time last year. He had a big score in the VFL. Huge. And so that's where I'm going there.
Got a question for the traders? Tweet the boys at AFL Fantasy or head to facebook.com/AFL Fantasy Official.
All right, let's have a look at some questions that we have got through social media. And there's been plenty, so we'll try to get to as many as we can. All right, Nick is going, what's the priority? Getting an F7. Now, currently Sipkin in F6, which I think you can have. Is it Grundy to Marshall? Because Grundy sucked
do
on
that.
the weekend.
Yeah.
Or someone else already have Big X, but Marshall would be the one that you'd be trying to get. Or a mid-out, or a mid-out for Young to a mid, or Stewart into D6. Whew, there's a bit going on there.
There's a lot going on there.
The F7, I think I'd avoid that
Just
for
that.
this stuff now.
Yeah.
Try to
Leave
get
that one
Young
for now.
out, or would you get Stewart? Would you get a midfielder, or would you get Stewart?
I'd just get
Young?
I'd just get Stewart.
Same.
I think, and
Yep.
that's one place I went wrong because it just didn't feel right last week. I actually had a look at Serong, which was obviously wrong, but I was doing it anyway. But I was looking at Serong to Stewart as
Yep.
opposed to Dunkley.
Yeah.
So sometimes just back yourself on what you actually think, not what seems like the safe long-term play.
All right, Harrison wants to know, is it Meek to ex-Erie or Ryan to Stewart? I think you jump off Meek, don't you?
You're not having Ryan, are we?
No, but
Got to get rid of that.
at least he had an 80.
Yeah, in a good
I
matchup,
think
though.
He's got a couple more, though.
He does. He's got West Coast this week. Yeah, Meek's got to go.
I'll go Meek out.
Yep.
Now, is it Goulden or Whitfield here?
Yeah, I'm Goulden,
Yeah, so am I.
but like in the next 2 weeks, you really want them both for the last month.
Yeah.
But you got to have Goulden. Goulden could be in captain's considerations this week. I'm tipping.
Against the Bulldogs at home.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Anthony wants to know, when do we give up after another terrible season? Calvin?
We
No,
don't.
good.
We don't.
Exactly, we don't.
We fight on.
I walked in having given up.
Yeah.
Oh, Roy, you
But now I'm back
still
on.
100 and,
But
what
I-
are you, 140th
Yeah,
overall?
but just choking. It's not fun choking.
No, the easy option is to give up.
It is.
Okay.
That's why I was going to do it.
you
you
might
just
win a
keep
league
fighting.
final somewhere.
Yep.
Well, I do that
Keep
when I
trading.
don't upgrade my team. Look at my draft.
Yeah.
Johnny T, hi legends. Can I get either one? I can get either one of Treloar or Whitfield to bring in this week. Who would you bring in? Are we concerned about a potential Whitfield tag?
Whitfield tag from, Neil Bullen? I wouldn't think so.
More likely to go to Treloar than
think-
Whitfield if you're looking at those two in a tag worry, wouldn't you?
I think Whitfield will outscore Treloar this week.
So, yeah,
Agree.
Yeah,
go there. Just less risk, I guess.
I guess.
Matt wants to know here, English owes me points for choosing him over Marshall. Yes.
Oh.
And Dunks owes me choosing him over Brayshaw.
Definitely.
They both owe you, and I don't
We're
know where
hearing
you're
it
going to
and
get paid
feeling
back.
it.
I don't know where you're going to get it back.
Oliver, hi traders. I need help with the Freo boys, please. Who do I trade out first between Ryan and Young? And who comes in between Brayshaw and Serong? So just doing a bit of Freo inter-club trading there.
Yeah.
Intra-club, even.
Ryan or Young? I feel it's Ryan first.
I agree.
Okay.
So Ryan out, and it's a coin toss.
Brayshaw or Serong? Make a call.
Oh, well, Brayshaw is not going to get tagged, and Serong, they might decide to tag again. So,
Brayshaw's last 5 there's a 120, a 136 and a 146.
yeah,
It's Bray.
yeah.
Yep.
All right, does Walsh need to go here for Braden? Last 3 scores of 90, 88 and 66.
Yeah, he does.
They're
I've
not
changed
good.
my mind. He's no good. But, Serong was also considered no good last week
So
because of...
You're a fan of keeping the name.
I am.
Right, and this is a guy that I think in the rolling sat at M1 there for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Now, Ninja Spoon, looking at Dawson to Steele. Now, Steele
It's an
was
interesting
good.
one. He's very good.
And he has got the Bombers this week.
He does.
So, yeah, he's just cracked the 10K ranking, but have improved every week since the start of the buys.
Well done.
And looking to finish the season with a head up. Hashtag Buttermouse.
Yes.
Okay, that's inspirational. Steele's interesting because if he is fit, 100%, and you said he's got a massive run under the roof coming up, he's tempting. Like even a Walsh to Steele. Because if Steele's back...
Yeah.
Yes, at 133, 105, 112 are his last 3.
It's a big difference, isn't it?
It is. Into, in a couple of weeks' time, we're going to look at it because he's got Richmond and Geelong.
I mean, he abused the Eagles, which he should.
Yep.
But having those 2 matchups in the run home as well.
So he's got Essendon this week. He had 124 against them in round 3. He's got Brisbane. He only had a 74 against them before his bye. Then he got Richmond, who he had a 131 against. So his draw's good, and he's got a few runs on the board as well.
He does.
Right, since you've been gone, best replacement for Nank. It's just simply X over
It's X
Marshall.
and Marshall.
Yep. Are we better off fixing other lines instead of constantly trading F6? That's yes.
We are.
But it's probably, it depends on who it is, obviously. Because there was a question on Instagram pretty much about who do you trade Simpkin to. But are you just better rolling with that dude? He's got that drawer opening up. The Scale of Hardness says that.
It's been the end of me, that position. And that's why I went Rankin that week, because I was like, he can just sit there and I don't care. You'll go up and down and I don't care. That is the end of my stuffing around in that position.
Yep.
And because he got rubbed out, that has caused this flow-on effect of that's ended in Fisher being there this week.
I feel Simpkin's the worst one you can have there.
Yeah.
Is that fair? You can't have Powell there anymore. That's done.
Well, I've got...
He had a 41.
So I'm not counting Fisher as there now. I've got Manor there.
Well, yeah, or Dowling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, and you've got to fix up other things. Like Sam Walsh has gone 81 in the last 3 weeks.
Is he all right?
No, there's got to be something going on there. It's got to be something.
He's got that knee in the back as well this
Well,
week.
he doesn't need that.
No. Spine.
Mossy doesn't think it's going to affect him. 'Cause
Port
it's not an
Adelaide
issue
this
from
week.
what his previous back issue was.
He's
but-
had 3 marks in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That's his problem. When he come back from his injury originally, he was hitting up, demanding the ball for those marks. He's 4 marks down a week on where he should be minimum.
Port Adelaide this week, earlier this year, he had a 133 against them. Does he bounce back?
I don't know. He could. He's good enough to, but man, oh man.
Jerry's looking at his priorities. R2, Jackson to X area or English, and it's X area.
Yep.
And Jackson could be out, so that's an issue there.
Yeah.
Or F5, 6, is it Dempsey to Moore? So Dempsey, we talked last week about how he could just hold
Well,
the UF6 and he had a
based
30,
on
didn't he?
based on the numbers, yes, he could have just stayed there.
What do you, he had a 30, I
He had a
think.
30.
Yeah, he did. Like, those conditions for the wing
No,
role he's been playing
doesn't
were
help.
No.
awful. But it's bloody windy down at Blunston Arena. If he's not on the right wing,
Yep.
it may not go over his side. It may be on the right side as well, but
gotta
he
go.
can go.
Yep.
Matthew Morgan, is it wrong to keep two rookies on field, Manor and Evans, and trade out Kennedy for a premium midfielder? So Kennedy had a 50, didn't he? And thrown all over the place.
Keep the rookies. Those two are
is it a priority
serviceable.
still to trade rookies when they are outperforming other players on my team?
No.
No, and it's the Sam Walsh idea here where he's gone at 81 the last three.
Yeah.
Old
'Cause
mate
you
Evans.
should be able
Old
to-
mate Evans is
Yeah.
doing that.
Without a sweat.
And
Yeah.
hopefully who you're trading them to should be someone you get in. In saying that, Dunkley was that person for you, Roy.
Yeah.
But he'll reward you, Roy.
He should.
He should at some stage, maybe. Who knows?
Round
Who's
26.
the best premium midfielder out of these players? Treloar, Dunkley, Steele. Treloar. But
Treloar.
do you worry about him for this week?
I am worried about trading into him this week. Dunkley, I'd say probably has to be forgiven for that.
Definitely.
He's just not up to that standard, unfortunately. But no other team is Sydney standard, so he should be fine. Steele has me interested, but Steele has burnt me
Yeah.
so many times in the past.
Treloar goes Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, North.
So after this, he's really the trade target next week.
Yeah. But you could go early.
You could go early like I did this week with Dunkley.
Yep.
Yeah, it worked well.
Shees or Treloar, who would you be getting first? Is it Shees?
Yeah, for the matchup as well.
Yep. Steele or Cripps?
I always default
know.
to Steele here.
Yeah.
Because I always think Steele's averaged like 120 before for a full season. I think I'm going Steele.
Would you trade? This is for Lauren. Trade out Butters due to the tag watch coming up,
Yeah.
or is Ryan a bigger concern?
Ryan's a bigger concern.
Ryan's probably a bigger concern, but I think Butters cops it hard the next 2 weeks.
So you think he's got a Chin Cotter
Yeah.
and a James Jordan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, Oscar's written this. I don't know whether it's been written sarcastically. Congrats to Calvin for picking a good captain.
Yeah, no, that's legit. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Like, about time, is it? Or
No.
No,
People
he's
are-
just been nice.
People are getting around me, dog.
Yeah.
That's good.
You would know what that's like.
You were number one. The captain's challenge.
Of course I am. Number one every week,
Good
mate.
work.
Genius.
Well
The undisclosed guy, I think that's what it's supposed to say. Now, not a question, but I had Caldwell as my VC and Nang Curvis as my captain.
Well, that's just unlucky.
Can't do it all for you, mate. Sorry. There's an order there. There's an order. You two need to start paying attention
That's
to it.
unlucky. I
If you
did. I had you number 2.
Joseph wants to know, if you're choosing between Keys and Moore, who would you pick? It's 100K, I reckon, difference.
And the score could be very similar.
I think Moore is F5, isn't he, Roy?
Yeah.
He's the better player.
Yeah. He's the one that I would just
Bit
sit
safe.
there
It's a bit safer.
to rot for the rest of the year. Keysy, as a 1 to 2 week wonder,
So when's Rankin back? He's got 2 more weeks out, because that'll affect that.
oh, big time.
So you're a maximum of 2 week play with Keysy, are you?
I think so.
Keezy's going to be big. Yeah, you can definitely do it.
Ash does ask here, who's your captain of the year so far? Who's been your best captain? Can you think of any?
Over the course of the whole year,
Yeah, who's been your
it'd have to
favourite?
be Gordon, I reckon, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
He seems to be the guy that I always go back to.
Hit 3 150s. hasn't
Whitfield's quickly coming onto the scene.
He is.
He's very,
good
very
on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez, we've answered a lot of these through our discussions here, which is good. Fisher, hold or sell?
Well, it's a good question. Let's just talk about this for a minute. So, I hate to refer to my team with this one. However, I think it's
You
relevant
don't
for a lot
hate.
of people. Yes, I do. I hate my team more than anything on earth. Now, this week, right?
Anything on earth.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
It's comparable to a big steamy poo. Now, so Manor this week, I want to loop as my forward, where I'll most likely need someone in that F6, which would give me the option to loop Fisher
Yeah.
down back this week. Now,
Okay, because
it-
he's got the
early
position
game
status. And,
so that's the question. Is he worth holding as a loop? Because if you've got him on your ground, he is definitely not worth holding. Like,
Agree.
that's a trade every day of the week. It's just whether you want to consider using him as a loop option. What do you think on that one? Is he worth holding as a looper? Technically, they've got a good run ahead, but he's been subbed a lot now this year, you have to say.
He was fit to play last week, and they chose to put him in the VFL.
Yeah.
He was fit to play this week, and they chose to vest him out.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if he's named.
So just trade him.
I think he can go.
Yeah. The only way he would be a hold is if Colby was out.
Yep.
Because he has well and truly bumped him from that distributor role down back.
Big time.
Last question from Zach. Is Mason Wood the best F6?
Oh, yes.
All right, I think that's enough for us for today. Thanks very much for tuning in. It has been another big episode of the podcast. Catch all our content at afl.com.au/fantasy, including the stock take, including Fantasy Ready. And don't forget to tune in on Thursday Night Live, 6:15, afl.com.au and the AFL Live app. We'll see you then. Bye.